Welcome to the Creative Minds Smart Money Podcast, the ultimate podcast for creative entrepreneurs blending creativity with financial savvy. Hosted by a seasoned bookkeeper passionate about helping creatives thrive, this show covers the basics of bookkeeping, delivering tips, tricks, and insights to keep your finances in check and your creative spirit free. Tune in to transform your creative passions into a prosperous business without sacrificing your artistic vision. Hello, fellow dreamers and doers. You're listening to the Creative Minds Smart Money Podcast, and I'm your host, Samantha Eck. Today, I'm so excited to welcome special guest, Melissa Nguyen. Melissa is a mindset and embodiment coach who specializes in helping business owners establish routines that promote balance, consistency, and business success through a holistic focus on mind and body, aka embodiment. With extensive experience in personal development and holistic wellness, Melissa empowers clients to transform their lives by aligning their mindset and daily practices. Her unique approach ensures that clients not only achieve their professional goals, but also maintain optimal well-being. I'm so excited to have you here today, Melissa.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
Yes, absolutely. So let's dive right in. What led you to become a mindset and embodiment coach?
Honestly, long story short, pretty much like my own mental health struggles. My journey into like mindset coaching or just like coaching overall kickstarted when I was going through a period of like high highs, low lows, like extreme bouts of anxiety attacks, and I got to the point where like I went to go get a diagnosis and they were like, you have bipolar disorder. And so when I got that diagnosis, it kind of like led me along a path of personal recovery where I stumbled into the world of like holistic health and wellness and then learned about like the mind body connection, learned about how everything that we experience mentally, emotionally, physically is a sign from our body, letting us know that something's out of balance. And so over the course of like 2 to 3 years, I embodied everything I learned. So I put everything into practice, what I've learned, and saw my whole entire mental health change and transform. And that transformation kind of led me through like a paradigm shift where it just made me think about like mental health differently. And, that transformation was so life changing. It pretty much like cultivated like a sense of like obsession. I'm like, wow, this is so fascinating. Like, what does mindset work and what is like, the human psychology and, using foundations and principles for behavior change to like actually facilitate transformational change that will actually stick. So I did that, went into wellness coaching, became a lifestyle wellness coach where I helped like, high achieving women learn how to manage their stress and avoid burnout while being able to like enjoy all other aspects of their life as they're working towards their goals. Did that and then felt a call to pivot and I pivoted. And so during that time of my pivot, that's when I continued to learn about mindset stuff. And then I learned about somatic work, which refers to the body. Through Qatar, who's like a somatic practitioner who changed my life. And so a lot of his work influences the work that I do with my clients. But I learned that, the body is really where mindset blocks are, subconscious, like beliefs that hold you back, habits, patterns of behaviors that are slowing down your growth. And so in order for you to be able to like facilitate change that will actually stick, like you have to take a mind body approach, which is where the embodiment piece comes into play because embodiment, simply put, just refers to the mind body connection. Understanding that, your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and emotion lives there. And so when you work towards overcoming mindset blocks with somatic practices, you're able to break through like the things that are holding you back and create change that will actually stick. So long story short, that's how I became a mindset and embodiment coach.
I love how passionate you are. It sounds like you're really like to help people figure this out and embody that. Can you explain what embodiment means in the context of personal and professional growth?
Yeah. So in the context of like personal and professional growth, there's two. So it's the alignment of mind and body. So again, establishing that mind body connection, but also from a mindset perspective, mindset is what you believe to be true about yourself and the world around you. And your mindset is shaped by your behaviors, right? and then the thoughts and stories that you have associated with that behavior, the emotions that you're feeling, maybe like, memories that you picked up or lived experiences that shape, your mindset. And so when it comes to like business success, your mindset will either make or break your business success, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if you work with the body and include embodiment practices to overcome maybe like self-sabotage, procrastination, or overthinking, overwhelm that stops you from putting yourself out there in your business, you'll be able to have that personal growth professionally and personally.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful because I think a lot of the mindset that a lot of entrepreneurs have is definitely that like imposter syndrome mindset where they're like, "Can I actually do this? Am I
Hmm.
actually worth like anything that I'm doing?" So just having someone like connect to that, and I think that's such a big role that you can take on in someone's life to like shift their
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah, it bleeds through everything that you do, you know? There's no way of avoiding it because like your habits and your behaviors are just expressions of your mindset.
Yes. So what impact do you think like negative money habits have on business success and how can they be identified and changed?
Again, it comes back to like, negative habits can either make or break your business success, right? Your money mindset bleeds into how you operate in your business. And so if you have like a pattern of procrastinating or avoiding like, tasks in your business that are going to have a direct impact on sales, how much profit you make, like you can get to a point where maybe you're struggling in business and then, you have all of these expenses come at you out of nowhere. But I know someone personally who's, struggling financially right now. It's because, the way that she managed her money, the habits that she have. And this is just kind of to tie into like the other questions that the following questions I asked, like what are some signs? But like, let's say that overspending is a habit that you have
Yes.
around money, right? If you're a six-figure entrepreneur and you spend like 100% of the money that comes in, and then you have a season where it's really slow, you're not having much clients, but you still have business expenses that you need to keep afloat, then you're going to struggle financially in business, which overall impacts your overall well being. When you could have easily set yourself up for success, but not set, like, I don't, when I say set yourself up for success, but like, have a plan for when things like this happen in life. Like
Right.
you're not as stressful in business, right? If you had breaking through that pattern of overspending and learn how to manage your money right, where you're putting aside money for rainy days, you're putting aside money for taxes, you're thinking about the expenses, money coming in and things like that, then you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't have to suffer if business was slow. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And that totally makes sense because I think that yeah, like all of those habits, you're right, like kind of bleed into your business. You might think
Mhm.
that they're just personal habits, but
Nope.
I can see
Nope.
even in myself like how personal habits like kind of echo into my business
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're either positively impacted or they negatively impact it.
Mhm, mhm. It's impacted me negatively in so many ways just because, like, I grew up, I'm like first generation Asian American, right? I have parents who are immigrants who came here from Vietnam, during the time of the Vietnam War when, money was scarce and, scarcity mindset and just like toxic habits around money was like very common. And, um, I was aware of the fact of how it shows up in my business for so long, always knowing that I needed to work on it. But because of my own mindset blocks, like, I didn't act on it until like life made me work on like mindset.
Yes. Absolutely. So how does embodiment like really play a role in breaking through those like mindset blocks?
Well, first of all, again, it comes back to like the fact that your body is where the mindset blocks lies, right? And so,
Right.
if your relationship to money is mostly stress, anxiety, and overwhelm, and the way that you cope with stress, anxiety, and overwhelm is by maybe spending money on like a martini to cope with a bad day at work when maybe you shouldn't, Or like, when it comes to actually sitting down to have to look at your numbers and you feel overwhelmed to the point where you just like put it off, put it off, put it off, like it'll be really hard to overcome that if you're not targeting the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in the body, which is where the root of all of it lies. And so that's where that embodiment piece comes in, because you can dig deep to intellectualize, discover why, you keep procrastinating on money, discover why you keep overspending. Maybe because you even discovered that your parents like were gamblers or addicts or something like around money. And so you picked up on that and that shows up in your business. But even then, like, if you aren't actually doing the work, sitting down and actually looking at your spreadsheet, looking at how much is coming in, how much is going out, and staying regulated emotionally in that, then it'll be really hard to break through. So
Right.
that's why it's important. Like, you can't avoid the emotional work. And when it comes to the emotional work, that's where the embodiment piece comes into play, because your emotions is in your body, not your mind.
Okay. Okay. And that totally makes sense. So I know you touched on this just kind of like a little bit already, but what are the signs that an entrepreneur might need to work on their money mindset?
Number one, you're an overspender. You spend more than you make, which was me. That was me my whole life, where, I had money coming in, but it's just like I'm not able to maintain it. I'm spending a lot more and spending on things that I don't really need. So that's one mindset block or a sign. Another one is the opposite side, is being an underspender. Maybe like money was so scarce growing up. Like, you go on family vacations and you overhear your parents talk about how you need to like, gather money. You need to hoard money because a rainy day will come. Money's tight. So you're ingraining that belief that you can't spend because money will never come back. And so underspending, not being willing to invest in like, outsourcing things, invest in your business to grow your business, right? Another one is avoiding the work. Like, same thing. Like, you need to know your numbers in business. This is something I'm learning to get better at, but you need to know your numbers. You need to know how
Right.
much is coming in. You need to know how much is going out. You need to know your expenses, how much your like business expenses are, how much you need to put aside for taxes. But if you're avoiding that, right, then you're
Yes.
missing out on like your numbers. You don't even know, right? And so that's where you get to a place where shit hits the fan and you aren't able to like take care of your needs because you didn't have a clue on like what the current state of or financial health of your business is. And then the same thing, scarcity mindset.
Yes.
That can show up in the sense where like, you're showing up online, you're struggling in your business, you need clients to pay the bills. And so you're like showing up on social media, trying to sell your products and services from a place of like, maybe you're using shame tactics or scarcity tactics to get people to buy, or like, you're having sales conversations from the mentality that this person's going to pay rent, is going to their invoice and their deposit or tuition for your program is going to pay rent, instead of like you showing up from a place of service, right? This is
Right.
something I relate to, because like all of last year I was struggling in my business financially. I was showing up from that place. And so I would say those are the common ones, but also lack of willingness to show up and sell as well. Like, if you have an offer that you need to sell to your audience, and you have to show up and talk about it on social media, you
Yes.
can't just hide. You
Yeah.
have to tell people about it. And you also have to be willing to lean into sales and have sales conversations. And
Yes.
sales is not a bad thing. It's how you
No.
do sales that makes it bad.
Yes. Yes. That serving, overselling mentality that you have to kind of like build into yourself to feel less
Yeah.
bad about talking to people about your what you're
Yeah.
offering.
Because you're repelling clients if you're refusing to show up and sell, because you're
Yes.
you're running a business and you need to sell.
Exactly. So, why is having like a consistent mindset practice so crucial for creating lasting change?
When it comes to a mindset practice, it can look like anything, but a mindset practice, to put it simply, is like any type of like rewiring like process or practice that you're committing to on a consistent basis to overcome mental barriers that stop you from, taking control of your finances in business, right? Because when it comes to creating new habits, breaking through limiting beliefs, breaking through patterns or habits that are no longer serving you. Let's say for, avoidance, you have to number one, unlearn the beliefs associated with that, but you also have to build new habits, which requires for you to put in repetition to build new neural networks. And so let's say that you are someone who avoids looking at your finances in business, right? Because stress, anxiety, and overwhelm is how you feel when you're in that place. Then if you want to avoid the
Right.
pattern of procrastination and get into a routine of sitting down and looking at your finances, maybe weekly, biweekly, monthly, or whatever, then
Yeah.
number one, you have to learn how to regulate yourself with that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm. But you can mentally rehearse yourself. This is a mindset practice. You can mentally rehearse yourself sitting down to do the actual thing so that when it comes time for you to actually do the actual thing, it's easier for you. And then you're able to do it consistently more and more and more to the point where like, you look back 8 months down the line and you're like, oh my God, I'm sitting down and looking at my finances weekly, bi-weekly, and I don't hesitate to do it. I do it without hesitation and I feel confident. I feel empowered as opposed to feeling stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. But it's through that mindset practice that's going to help you get there. Because if you skip out on the mindset practice, then you might be able to attain that goal, but you won't be able to get it to stick. You'll just relapse
Yes.
back to your baseline again because you're not doing the inner work that's needed to facilitate that transformational change.
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree, and I can totally see that. Um, so what are some practical steps that entrepreneurs can take to incorporate embodiment practices into their daily routine?
Number one is to download my embodied presence meditation. That's first things first, which actually do you want me to do like a quick walkthrough of the meditation so your listeners can try it for themselves and also you can experience? Okay.
Yeah, let's
So
do it.
Okay, so before I do that, I want to answer the rest of the question, and then we can go into the meditation. But practical step is download my body presence meditation, which is designed to help you deepen your connection with your body, so that you can become aware of the mindset blocks as they come up in real time, not like 2 months down the line, not a year down the line, not 2 hours down the line, but in real time, so you can catch it quicker, but also is to reset your nervous system because when you are in fight or flight mode when it comes to your relationship with money, it'll be really hard to take action. So this practice is also helping you reset your nervous system, but also to lower your brainwave states to a place of creation, calm, and relaxation so that you have a stronger baseline for taking action. But also to help you learn how to work with the subconscious mind so that you can rewire the new habits into your brain and make it easier for yourself to take action. And so that's the meditation. And then another practical step is to pick one habit or routine you want to establish. Maybe you want to sit down and have like a weekly money audit. Pick how often you're going to do it. Pick when you're going to do it. Pick where you're going to do it, and then track that habit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Meditation time. Meditation time. What's your level of experience with meditation?
I would say very beginner.
Okay. 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 That's okay. Well, in that case, couple of things to consider before going into this. Let go of the need to get it right.
Okay.
Lean into it with a mindset of curiosity. Be open to allowing your experience to be whatever it needs to be. And if you come into this meditation with the intention of trying to get something out of it, it won't work.
Right. Okay.
You have to let go. So just take a couple of deep breaths, 3 to 4 or 5 seconds in through the nose, 3 to 4 or 5 seconds out. Long, slow, deep breaths. We're going to do this a couple of times. And as we are practicing the breath, I want you to set the intention in your mind that you're just going to take the next couple of minutes to deepen your connection with your body. 3 to 4 or 5 seconds in through the nose, 3 to 4 or 5 seconds out. Long, slow, deep breath. We're going to do it one more time. 3 to 4 or 5 seconds in through the nose, 3 to 4 or 5 seconds out. Long, slow, deep breaths. And then as you continue to breathe at this cadence and at this pace. Start at the top of your head. We're going to do a quick body scan. So starting at the top of your head, moving down past your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, just letting go stress, any tension that you might be holding on into your body, just letting it all go. No expectations. Your nose, your lips, your chin. As you continue to breathe, 3 to 4, 5 seconds in, 3 to 4, 5 seconds out. Your neck, your shoulders, your arms, just letting it all go, relaxing and settling more and more into your body. Moving down past your arms, your elbows, your hands. Continuing to breathe, 3 to 4, 5 seconds in, 3 to 4, 5 seconds out. If your mind wanders, that's okay. And then continue to breathe, letting go of any expectations down past your chest, your stomach. 3 to 4, 5 seconds in, 3 to 4, 5 seconds out. Long, slow, deep breaths. Your hips, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, your toes. Now we're going to go one step deeper. Continue to breathe. Long, slow, deep breaths. 3 to 4, 5 seconds in. Beautiful. Love it. Now I want you to direct your focus and attention to the space inside of your body, like there's space in between your muscles and your skin, all throughout your entire body. So just like breathe into that spaciousness. And if you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, like that's okay. Just continue to breathe. 3 to 4, 5 seconds in, 3 to 4, 5 seconds out. Breathing into that spaciousness inside of your body. Good. Long, slow, deep breaths. And then I want you to go just a little bit deeper. There is space in between your organs and in between your cells all throughout your entire body. So just breathe into that spaciousness and settling into that spaciousness. Sometimes I like to visualize like breathing into that spaciousness is in between my cells, my veins, my capillaries, the bloodstream that travels like all throughout my body. So just like breathe into that spaciousness. Beautiful. And then whenever you're ready, you can open up your eyes. How was that?
That felt good. I felt like my body just like completely let go. Like just
uh,
release.
release what?
I don't know. My shoulders just went like down. It was like
Let's
goodbye.
go.
Goodbye.
Did you feel any tingly sensations?
Yes, actually, I felt kind of like a chill actually when I was breathing. When you said to breathe in that spaciousness between like my skin and my muscle, like I almost felt like a chill like running through my skin. It was kind of like strange, but it was like, ooh,
Like
that's
a
interesting.
minty, refreshing kind of.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. You know, when you feel, okay, so when I guide people to breathe into that spaciousness, a couple of things happen. They either get sleepy, they either feel really settled into this moment, like time kind of like, is distorted. And then they start feeling tingly. But all of those are signs or indicators that you are in your subconscious mind.
Ooh, that's interesting. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that's so valuable too. So I think that'll be really
Mm-hmm.
great for like the
Yeah.
listeners to
Yeah.
really practice.
Now, when it comes to this is a practice that I have my clients do, but one time is great. Many times is even better.
Yes. So
Yeah.
incorporating that daily would really
Yeah.
help out.
Yeah, I usually tell people to do it with their eyes open because
Okay.
sometimes we'll set aside 10 minutes. Well, we did it like within 3, 4 minutes. But the meditation that I have my clients use, it's 7 minutes, but we set aside time to do it, but then we go back to our natural state, right? So the more that you practice it throughout the day, the more that you are anchoring in that new mindset block.
Yes.
So instead of like it being segregated, it's integrated into your life.
Okay. Yeah, I felt it. I felt it. That was so powerful. So, I can definitely see it. I mean, already success with me, but can you share some success stories of entrepreneurs who have transformed their business through mindset and embodiment practices?
I'm gonna use me as an example, because last year I'll share a quick story. I shared this on social media, but last year I made a $12,000 investment in my business and a
Mm.
business mentor. That didn't work out. That didn't work out. I didn't get what I wanted out of it, and it actually put me in a position where I was in like a financial rock bottom,
Right.
where I was really, really struggling financially to the point where like I couldn't pay rent. And so I had to move back in with the in-laws so that I can like recover financially. And then, my whole entire business struggled financially all of last year. And so that kind of like woke me up because a part of that also had to do with the fact that like I shouldn't have made that investment because I couldn't afford it. I
Right.
shouldn't have. And also I was overspending. I was spending more than I needed to. And the money coming in versus money going out really very big discrepancy, right? And I
Right.
knew it for a very long time, but I kept avoiding it. I kept pushing it off, procrastinating, not refusing to look at my numbers. And it wasn't until like, I hit that rock bottom where it woke me up. It woke me up to the point where I'm like, oh fuck, like I can't be in a state where when I think about money, I feel like I'm sinking. I feel stressed. I feel like it controls me. Like, I can't live my life like this anymore, and so, that woke me up, and I spent the past, like I spent 8 months after that getting to a place where I'm like, "No, I'm gonna." I started reading, Overcoming Underearning, which is like a financial book. So it talks about foundations of like wealth and then the mindset side of things. And so I read that book and then implemented everything I've learned and, committed to sitting down and actually looking at my numbers, actually looking at how much is coming in, what are my expenses, what
Yes.
can I cut back, how can I like consolidate all of my loans into one place so that the for interest rate is 0% for the next actually doing all of that and then canceling credit card payments, like looking at my debt, how much do I owe, how much is coming in. And I really committed to that. I really committed to that. And I'm still working on that, but like I've gotten so much better even with my finances and the mindset practice where I like, committed to really overcome that because the story and the beliefs that I had with that was I'm bad at money.
Right.
I'm bad at money. I had to reprogram that belief. And I did that by like, I'm not saying everybody needs to do this, but I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza, but like I committed to his hour and a half long meditations for like a good month and a half to 2 months to reprogram that belief to shift into the identity. And it's crazy now that I'm talking about it because like, this was literally last year, August of last year. But like to shift the identity of someone who's bad with money to someone who's good with money and being consistent with that. And as a result, like I was able to pay off debt. I don't know the specific numbers. I'm gonna have to go back and look this Friday. I was able to pay off debt, save up $5,000 to move out. Again, I'm in my new apartment, move out of the parents'
Yes.
place, but save up 5,000 to save for like, the deposit, first month's rent, right? Also got a new job like outside of business. I pick up a 9 to 5 to have financial stability. So I don't show up and project that scarcity mindset onto my audience. But also now I'm like rebuilding my emergency fund. 3 to 6 months is what they say. I'm like 2 months. I had 2 months saved up. I got one more saved up, right? But all from sitting down and consistently looking at my finances, looking at where I need to pay shit off, looking at where I need to move money, right? And now, like, when I sit down and do it, I feel empowered. Like, I don't feel stressed, anxious, and overwhelmed. And I would say I'm good with money. At least
Yes.
I started my Fidelity account, which will need to be a little bit better. But, I'm building out a 401k because, like, I was just always thinking in the moment, not thinking about myself, like, as a 70-year
Yes.
old who needs to live off of money. And so I have like a 401k that I'm building and just like opening up my Fidelity account, looking into investments. So I would say me, success story. So that would be like the biggest transformation I've had as
Yes.
far as like money mindset goes.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful, and thank you so much for sharing that because I know that how, like, emotional that can be, but the fact that you reflected on that and, like, grew from it is such a powerful story, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be so impactful for people to hear, and not only that, like, I will admit that I was in the same position as you, like, a year ago, like,
Hmm.
I'm still kind of working out of my money things, but I was in a position where I was like, "I'm just bad at money. I don't think I'm good
Yeah.
with money." And,
Yeah.
like, I had to slowly think about it every day and, like, really get past it by being like, "No, I'm not bad at money. I'm good at
Yeah.
money. I can do
Hmm.
this. I can understand it." And it took a long time, but
Yeah.
I'm finally at that place where I'm like, "I'm good with the money. I know what I'm doing with my money. I just need to take, like, those steps and get to where I
Yeah.
need to be."
Yeah. Continue to be consistent. And I've noticed that too in the way that I think, in the way that I think with money, right? Like, oh, there's a 300 or two, especially with investing in my business. I went from an emotional buyer to an analytical buyer because I'm like, oh, I want to invest, but can I sustain that? What are my numbers?
Yes.
Like, am I going to be able to pay that off? Or like, if I have an impulsive urge to buy something, I'm like, no, no, I'm going to eat at home. We have food at
Yes.
home. I don't need to spend out. Like, I can spend out, but, or like I have moments now where I'm like, oh shit, like I've been spending like crazy. I need to chill the fuck out. Like, I'll have moments where
Yes.
I'll go back, but I'm like, oh no. Because in my mind, I'm like, if I continue down this path, I will be back where I was last year. And so that kind of rock bottom is like it has instilled fear within me to like never go back to that place again. So when I'm making in the moment decisions on whether or not I want to spend $20, $30, because it adds up, right? Or I want to eat at home, like I will eat at home.
Yes. So I know you kind of already touched on this a little bit, but what, like, really solid piece of advice would you give to someone just starting to work on their money mindset?
Number one, download my meditation.
Yes.
Because you need to deepen your connection with your body. You can't bypass the emotional work when it comes to this. And it's the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm and shame and embarrassment that you have with money that stops you from overcoming that. So the first step you need to do is deepen your connection with your body, which you can do through my body presence meditation. Start small. Start small. You don't need to work on a million things at once, but start small. And whatever it is that your pattern is, like, work on that. But also like give yourself a broad timeline to overcome it because it's not going to happen overnight. And also give yourself grace when you do fuck up, when you do have setbacks, because those will come. Like you'll have moments where you're like, oh, I made so much progress, but like I did it again. I definitely have moments like that. But also pay attention to the patterns in your life around money. Pay attention to that because the more that you can pay attention to that, the stronger you will be able to overcome it because then you can catch it in real time, not when you're in autopilot mode or when you get to a place where you hit rock bottom, you're like, how did I get here?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today, Melissa. I really appreciate all the insight you've given us into your story and mindset, which is so important for every business owner. Where can my audience find you and connect with you?
You can find me on Threads. I'm pretty active there. So I'm sure there'll be links down in the show notes below, which I'll add. So you can find me on Threads. I have a podcast called the Becoming Podcast, which is something that I am revamping, but it's all about subconscious reprogramming, mindset shifts, identity shifts. You can also follow me on Instagram. I do post on my stories on there. embodied presence meditation, do that. It's free. It's a simple practice that you can commit to. There's also my shift masterclass, which is a video training that walks you through the framework that I walk my clients through to actually overcome the mindset blocks in a way that will actually stick. And then there's also my group coaching program that I'm going to be launching in August 5th. We will start the first week. Actually, no, let me look up August. I don't know when you'll be releasing this episode, but um, I will be launching a new group coaching program. Oh, yep. August 5th, and we'll be starting in September, which is a group coaching program that's designed to facilitate an integrative mindset training experience so that you can establish a routine for consistency, balance, productivity, and business success. And so if you want to be able to like establish like a money routine where you sit down and audit your finances, in a structured support and container, flow is definitely going to be something that you want to check out. And yeah, those are some ways that you can work with me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Melissa. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait for my listeners to hear your story.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for having me.
And that wraps up another episode of the Creative Mind Smart Money podcast. It's been a joy to have Melissa share her powerful journey and insights into mindset and embodiment coaching. It's clear that our mental and emotional health play a crucial role in our financial success, and Melissa's practical tips and personal stories offer valuable guidance for entrepreneurs striving to overcome their money mindset blocks. To connect with Melissa and dive deeper into her transformative work, follow her on Threads and Instagram. Be sure to check out her podcast, The Becoming Podcast, for more on subconscious reprogramming and mindset shifts. Don't forget to download her free body presence meditation and explore her Shift Masterclass. If you're ready to take your mindset to the next level, consider joining her group coaching program that launched on August 5th. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope Melissa's story has inspired you to take actionable steps towards a healthier mindset and greater business success. Remember, your financial journey is as much about your inner world as it is about numbers. Until next time, keep your creative minds flowing. Farewell, fellow travelers.